blast in my face. Good old Creole brew. Good old cacao. Give y'all a minute to get in here. Let the notifications go out. Come on. Green light, go. Give y'all a couple minutes. Anyway. Yo, what's good, folkers? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. This is Tyrant's Bane. Welcome to the Definition of Anarchy channel. It is Saturday, October 16th, 2021. October 16th, 2021 on a Saturday. And yeah, me and my boy, we're on our way to the farmer's market. And yeah, we're just enjoying life. You know what I mean? Anyway, I wanted to get into the sanctions. All right. I want to get into the sanctions against the non-GMO people. The people who aren't snapped. The people who didn't get poked. The people that didn't do the shoulder tap. You feel me? I want to get into that because it's very important to understand the tactics they're using are much like the tactics they use against, you know, foreign countries who happen to be hostile, right? They cut you off, they cut off your supply line, they ostracize you from society, they demonize you, they use all kinds of propaganda to turn people against you, right? And I'm talking about the GMO people. To turn the GMO people against the non-GMOs, they do whatever they can to demonize you because, you know, the GMO people, they're complying, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? They're following, they're towing the line. And, you know, the idea is to shame you into getting a form of medical treatment that you don't want or need. You know what I'm saying? So this is war. I hope you guys understand that. Now, we've been at war with the government. We've been at war, right? Anytime you have an entity that rules over people with no option to remove yourself from that system without having to change geographical locations. And that's very important to understand. I should not have to leave I should not have to leave this country or this land because I don't want to participate in the government system, right? If they say, well, either you participate or you leave the country, then that's not really, those aren't real options, right? Again, that's coercion. Because as long as you're living in this country on their land, they get to tell you what to do. They get to take your tax money. They get to, you know, have their law enforcers patrol your land. You know what I'm saying? These are things that we have to understand is war. Understand that? We're under occupation from a hostile contingent. That's what government is. Government is force, and they are an occupying force. Understand that. You see, you know, people talk about all the time how when we voted, we gave the government the right to rule over us, this, that, and the third. Well, that's not true, because I don't vote. I didn't vote. I didn't give my power to anyone over myself. And so how is it that they have power over me? Is it because the majority gave them the power over me? No, because they don't have the power over me in the first place to hand power over to the government. This is something we must understand. If I say, yo, I want to buy this, I want to live on this land over here that's, happens to be in this country, and I'm self-sustainable. I'm able to raise my own food. I'm able to get my own water. That's all I need. All I need, even clothes. I can fashion clothes out of the goddamn animals that I fucking kill. Whatever I want to do. Whatever I want to do with my body on my land, I should be able to do that without government interference. And what happens is, when you let the government give you things, or when you let the government have power over the things that you need, they can easily take it away. Or they can ration it. They can limit it. Like what's going on the coast of LA right now. I'm about 20 minutes away from the port of San Pedro, the port of Long Beach, where all those ships are that they have anchored out there, that has all these supplies that we rely on a daily basis. Now, you might ask yourself, and this is what intelligent people might ask, not even intelligent people who have common sense, people who can think, that have rational, logical thought processes. Why is it that a lot of the shit we need have to be brought in to a port? Ask yourself that question. Excuse me. What happened to the manufacturing in this country? Why is it that our medical supplies, the raw materials for our medical supplies, are provided by a country that is hostile towards us, like China? Why is it that the lithium that we need for all our batteries, this lithium batteries that give us, more life and all, why is it that the raw materials, we have to get that from Afghanistan? Now, Afghanistan has the most lithium out there, right? We probably don't have, I'm not sure about this, but I'm pretty sure we don't mine lithium at all in the United States. But do we need lithium? Do we need lithium to power our phones and power the electronics that we need? No, we don't. We get alkaline and all this other shit. So when we are allowing the government to hold off these ships, and they're holding them off, some reports have said, and I'll post a link to the article that I read, and someone in my Discord server put up on my in my Discord server. One of my members put it up in the Discord server. I believe I forgot. I think it was Shouting at Clouds. I don't remember. One of you guys. I appreciate it. But it's RT. RT. We know RT is a right-wing publication. But at the same time, knowing that they're a right-wing publication, we know they're not going to sugarcoat or manipulate some shit that the people on the left are doing. But basically, and this is, I already knew this, right? I already knew this. I already knew that they're just deliberately, and I talked about this before, they're deliberately holding those ships off, right? They're holding those ships off deliberately so that this manufactured shortage could be extended. It's a manufactured shortage. It's a government manufactured shortage. They're mad because we ain't getting snapped. We still, what is it? 67 or 70% of people are fully snapped. They want 98%. Joe Biden said that. He wants 98%. And also, your boy, Governor Nuisance, he already said now that the recall has failed, he's going to go full bore at the unsnapped, which consequently might, drive me out of California sooner than I was prepared for. But hey, it is what it is. You got to make the right moves for your family. Essentially, war has been declared on the unsnapped, and the snapped have to suffer along with us, right? They have to suffer along with us because the shortage affects them too. Everything is rising. The price of meat, eggs, milk, shit like this. They're saying that a ribeye steak is going to be a luxury item, right? It's going to be a luxury item, like fine champagne or fine wine or some bullshit. Well, thank goodness I know a rancher I could get my meat from for a reasonable price. As a matter of fact, just to talk about this real quick, my meat guy, he sells Wagyu steaks, Wagyu ribeye, bomb. If you guys know anything about Wagyu ribeye or Wagyu beef, it's like an aged, like they raise the cow a certain way, and then the meat is aged, and it has excellent marbleization. It's so tender and delicious. But Costco sells their Wagyu ribeye for $99 a pound, right? $99 a pound. Guess how much I get my Wagyu ribeye for? $49.99 a pound. Half price. From a rancher where I know the meat is coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have access to meat that I know how it's raised. I know where it's coming from. I know who's raising it. All that good shit. Anyway, I got to go in here and go to Atrium. It's Creole brew, y'all. Delicious. Anyway, I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. The jab glows. Man, that's interesting. I get all type of shit talking about what the jab does. Filaments moving around and tentacled creatures and all this other shit. It's hard to put that out there as like something solid information, man, without corroboration. You know what I mean? But like I said, guys, I have access to meat that I don't have to pay exorbitant prices for. Even though, a few years ago, the meat that I got from my rancher, I consider expensive because, I was used to getting my meat from like Whole Foods. Whole Foods meat is a little expensive. I was used to getting my meat from, before I started going with the organic and all that other shit. It's not that expensive, but Nowadays, it done flipped. My rancher, the meat that I get from my rancher, is the price is comparable to the prices that you get in the grocery store. It's kind of crazy, but you know, I'll take it. And I know if I'm ever stuck in California, when shit goes down, I know I can go to his ranch, which is basically he's like-minded. He's a like-minded individual, even though he's a Trump supporter, right? He's a white guy, Trump supporter, you know, conservative, whatever. But he's starting to think more along the lines of myself, which is something that he's basically taking the clear pill, right? But anyway, shit ever go down, I know I can go to his ranch. You know what I'm saying? I know he has plenty of freedom seeds and all this and boomsticks and all the other shit. So I know. Hell, he even installed a turret on his fucking land. You know what I'm saying? And the fucked up thing is, this is how I know they're declaring war. They damn near burned his ranch down. They burned damn near every tree surrounding his ranch to the ground. And as it was burning, the firefighters were on his land, just standing there, and they were given orders not to put out the fires. So he had to go do it himself, because he used to be a firefighter. He was a volunteer firefighter at some point in Orange County, and you know, he knew how to do it. So he was going around his land, basically creating brake lines or whatever you call it, to prevent the fires from reaching like his animals and his barn. Like he basically fought the fire by himself. Him and the guys on his ranch. Anyway, it's just, war has been declared a long time ago, right? War was declared when the Federalists were able to implement the central government. That's when the war started. You know, and then you had all these other wars, the Civil War, things like that, where there was an escalation. Call it armistice, right? Right now we're in armistice time against our own government, and at some point, and now it's escalating. It's escalating to the point where it's going to reach full war, right? Armistice means that it's basically a stand down. The war is not over, but it's not peacetime, but we're standing down. There's a truce for the moment, like between South Korea and North Korea. South Korea and North Korea are still at war. There's just an armistice time, which is like a lull. Anyway, make no mistake about it. Our government is committing acts of war against us. And it's going to reach a point where we're no longer going to be able to just peacefully protest. You understand? It's not that it can't be sustained that way. We can't sustain a peaceful protest. It just can't be sustained. At some point, it's going to reach a boiling point. It's going to be bad. You understand? And the best thing you can do is put yourself in a position where you're not going to be cannon fodder right off the bat by staying in these fucking cities, going to protest, going to riots, participating in the bullshit like that. No, the best thing that you could do is go off somewhere and get you some land, get you some like-minded people together, keep your nose down while you prepare for war, basically. And not even just against the government, like, because you should always be prepared for war, not just against the government, but against anybody that might, have bad intentions on you and your people. You know what I'm saying? It just so happens the government, the U.S. government, is like right here. They're right here, and they have the means and the methods and the motivation to escalate. The problem is we have 400 million firearms in this country, and people don't seem to understand how important that is, right? Yes, the government has F-16s, F-15s. They got stealth bombers and predator drones and They got tanks and Black Hawks and all that other shit. But we see what good that did in Afghanistan, right? You know, so all we got to do is ask them, hey, why don't you guys leave that here? And then we'll be able to get it, right? Because that's what happened in Afghanistan. They just left the shit there. They left all that sensitive equipment, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of equipment, an Air Force base that they took $50 billion to build of our taxpayer money. So this idea that we're, powerless against the government in the event that we have to go up against them is completely asinine, because they're not just going to carpet bomb. They're not just going to go around carpet bombing everything. They don't want to do that. They want to have the infrastructure to remain in place, and that's why they're doing things the way they're doing it right now. We would be going the way of the Australians if we didn't have those 400 million firearms and the right to keep and bear arms, right? Well, some of the rights. We don't have all the rights to keep and bear arms. But without that, we would be going the way of the Australian. You feel me? We would be going the way of the Australian if we did not have these firearms and the means to use them, and the capability and the number of people to use them, and the people with the will to use them. They would just, go around. They go door to door with their firearms, and they'll just round us up, right? They'll round us, unsnap people up, throw us in cages, throw us in those camps. I saw a video of a young woman in one of those camps in Australia. She was talking about the day in the life of quarantine camp, and she was like in the only exercise they can get is a little light jog and walking and things like that, and they're miserable, and they're eating crappy food 3 times a day. Like, we would be going that way if we didn't have our firearms. So it's not so simple as, oh, they got F-16s and they got the technology. When people who tell you that, they're weak-minded, and they don't have a creative thought in their mind. They just they're fearful, and those are the type of people that you want to look out for. You don't want to listen to those type of people. You want, because they don't understand. They don't understand, and they're cowards, right? They're cowards. So, it is what it is. We gonna see. We gonna see. But it's funny. Shit that I was talking about years ago, before I even got on YouTube, when I was trying to convince people, we need to, especially back in 2016. I think it was 2016. I started writing The Seeds of Dark Matter in 2015, I believe. And, I always had these ideas. I always had these, this distrust in the government. But it was in 2016 when I was like, man, we're going to have to start preparing for whatever the government has in store for us. So I was telling people, we need to get land. We need to get together and, start storing emergency food supplies, other emergency supplies, first aid kits, water. We need to get, there's things we need to do. Because this can happen, that can happen, this can happen, that can happen. They could fake a pandemic, and I was saying all this shit, and people looked at me like I was crazy, and now they're looking at me like, you were right. Yeah, I was right, but it's not too late to do the right thing. You feel me? Let me see what y'all talking about real quick before I get out of here. Yeah, the government is itching for violence, but they're too smart to initiate it right now because they know that it won't be so easy. There's who says, what's confirmed from whistleblower? We have the Amish here in Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's what's up. They know what's up. Yeah, the rancher owns mineral rights, yes. There's who says, hospitals trying to off people in slow motion here. Man, can you text that to me, Derek? That link, interview included, the one with where you're saying the hospital's trying to off people slowly. Yes, the government is itching for violence. The Abakai says we could have bigger things to worry about soon with the threat of a tsunami. A tsunami what? Off the coast? Which coast? Mars 77 says you always have to be prepared. Me and my husband have truck packs and MRAs, but we need even more prepared than that. Oh, absolutely. You can never be too prepared. Darcy Williams says an NBA player got jabbed, blood clots formed. NBA did him dirty. Yeah, can you text that to me too? Depending on who you talk to, there are 500 million guns circulating in America. Well, yeah, 500 million guns total. Maybe even, I say maybe even 700 million. But officially, there she was. I saw a video from over there where a person in one of those camps were warned they would be gassed if they did not report back to their room. These people are crazy, man. And yeah, and they got that app too, the app where they have to check in within 5 minutes if they get a text with their location, geolocation, and their picture. It's interesting to me how truth seekers are very diverse. We have those who are spreading the news about governments, then another group looking at the so-called natural disasters. Yeah, like Mike Morales. There's who. Many ex-service members have healthy distrust in the government. Yeah, as we should. We know. Mars 77 says agreed to Hobbit. Sean Nicole says stockpiling ivermectin is good for first aid. Yeah, because it's an anti-parasite. It's anti-parasitic, so it's good to have that anyway. Like something like that, ivermectin and antibiotics and shit like that. Quercetin is just as good and easier to obtain than ivermectin. Yeah, I take quercetin. You got to get in United States. You got to get ivermectin from a doctor. Shot in closet, changing all your equipment for diesel. You can store diesel for 10 years and it's perfectly fine. Yeah, gasoline, I think it's like 18 months or something like that. Not if that. Marcel said John O'Looney interview you never looked at. Okay. Due to the La Palma volcano, there's a threat of a mega tsunami hitting New York and other parts of the world. I gotta look into that. Gotta look into it. I want to talk about the amazing Lucas, or the idiot Lucas, wondering when he's going to cover Joe Rogan versus Gupta and what's going on in Florida right now. But I think I'll do that when I leave the farmers market, so I can get in here and get out. I think I'll do that as a part 2, because I find it interesting because he was pushing the horse dewormer narrative, right? I think he even clowned Joe Rogan for taking horse dewormer as well. You know, he pushed the propaganda where the FDA was saying, you're not a horse, you're not a cow, don't take ivermectin. So I think, I'm just curious to see if Lucas is ever going to cover that shit. And the Florida shit, because he was clowning Florida, and Floridians for not wanting the SNAP mandates and all this other shit, talking about you can't go to the hospital and all that other shit. So, but now look at what's going on in Florida, which I will talk about once I get out of the farmers market and get rolling again. So anyway, stay tuned for that. Oh yeah, Joe Rogan absolutely lambasted him, and it'll be nice to see Joe Rogan get the clown shoe Lucas on there so he can fucking lambast him. I bet his ass won't be threatening his children. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Yeah. Yep. Florida cases have plunged. So we're gonna talk about that when we get back in the vehicle. But right now I'm gonna go get my farmers market on, so we can get up out of here. We got a full weekend. This is my wife's birthday is on Tuesday, so we're celebrating it tomorrow, and she has an event today, so she wants to get her nails done and all this other shit, get some clothes and, you know, women's shit. So I got to get back. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Much love to you guys, and y'all stay up and stay tuned for the next live here in about 30 minutes to an hour. All right, peace out.